Okay, so for our topic today, we are going to talk about gradient and y-intercept. Okay, so do always remember when we are referring to a straight line, all right, we are always dealing with this equation. Y is equals to mx plus c. All right, why is this form much more superior? Right, because we can get out a lot of information such as the gradient. It tells me what the gradient is, and it also tells me what is the value for the y-intercept. Okay, so let's just say we have few example 1 to 6. Let's try out to find the gradient and the y-intercept. So let's see this equation. Now if you notice that this equation is already in the form of y equals to mx plus c. Y is equals to mx plus c, alright, but this is minus lah. So what does that tell me? Okay, so if I'm interested to find the gradient, alright, let's just say if I want to find the gradient and the y-intercept, okay, so that's gonna be 4 for this case, all right? Because remember, any value behind the x, that is going to be the gradient, and the y-intercept here is going to be this value, all right? Do not forget the negative sign, so that's going to be negative 6 over here, all right? I'm done. Okay, very simple. But you know, I can change the question, all right? Instead, I can ask you to find the coordinate of the y-intercept. So if you want to find the coordinates of the y-intercept, it's going to be written in this form, all right? Just putting here down, just in case that, you know, that you are going to deal with this question. So second, okay, so let's see, y is equals to 4 minus negative 6x, okay? Now again, if you notice the x and the y-intercept here has been misplaced, then if I want, I can rearrange this. Y is equals to negative 6x plus 4, alright? I just swap these two, but I did not remove them to the equal sign, so their original sign remains, correct? So my gradient, in this case, it's going to be negative 6, and my y-intercept, it's going to be 4, alright? It's very self-explanatory. Every single number will tell you over here. Okay? Now what about this? Alright? This one, it tells you in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. So my gradient, do always remember, is always behind the x value. Alright? So in this case, that's going to be negative 0.5. And my y-intercept, it's going to be just 3. Okay, we can see from over here, all right, it's 3. Now do always be careful if there are negative number like this case, you have to include the sign, because this is all positive, so I'm not including the sign, okay, because it's already understood. Now what about this? All right, so in this case, we have our gradient here. And we have our y-intercept. Let me write that down first. So gradient, all right, this is already in the form of y equals to mx plus c, all right? So, but if you notice, the c is not there, right? So if it's not there, what does it mean? Basically, it is telling you there is no y-intercept, which means the y-intercept is 0. Which means if I were to sketch out this graph, the line, it's cutting through the origin, all right? The line is cutting through the origin. Okay, so for my gradient for this case, this one is going to be just this number, negative 1 over 4. Done. All right. What about this one? Okay. Now this one is not in the form of y equals to mx plus c, so you can't say that, oh, behind the x value is 1, correct, and 1 is the gradient. That's not it. You can only say that after you have rearranged the equation into this form. So I'm going to quickly do it. So I'm going to just write 2y is going to equals to negative x plus 18. All right, move this over. Let's get me negative x. So if I were to solve this, y is going to equals to negative x plus 18. Everything is over 2. Okay? So I simplify this. Y is going to equals to, now this one, it depends how you write it. Alright? So for me, I'm just going to write it this way. This is going to be negative 1 over 2x plus this and this will give you 9. Okay? So for my gradient over here, that's gonna be negative 1 over 2. For my y-intercept, that's gonna be positive 9. Okay? Same thing, alright? Don't confuse, oh, behind x, 3 is my gradient, 18 is my y-intercept. Common mistake. We always remember, this form is not superior, so we can always change it into y equals to mx plus c to see what's going on. Right, so I'm going to change it to y equals to mx plus c. So I will have 6y is equals to negative 3x plus 18. So y is going to equals to negative 3x plus 18, and everything divided by 6. Y is going to equals to negative 1 over 2x plus 3. So with this information, I can find my gradient, which is behind the x value. In this case is negative 1 over 2, and the value for my y-intercept, it's going to be positive 3. Done. Okay, so that is how you find the gradient and y-intercept from the equation itself. Okay.